welcome. What a welcome in Mexico. I remember Mexico covering the World Cup in Mexico City in 1986. Mexico, Mexico, rah, rah, rah. I saw this a few weeks ago. Mainstream media didn't like it. 60% of Britons believe in conspiracy theories. What does that mean? We believe the government freaking lies to us. That's what they're saying. And that's another expression of it. And so we're at this cusp now, where we go to the left, we keep going the way we are, and we will enter this global fascist dictatorship. But we go another way. We take another perceptive road, and we'll be able to experience a freedom that people alive today would never have experienced before. And rule number one, our mind is our own, no one else's. We think with it what we choose to think with it, and no one else can dictate to us, or do we allow to dictate to us. And George Orwell said in the book 1984, freedom is the freedom to say that 2 + 2 = 4. If that is granted, all else follows. And the reason that is so important, and we're seeing it now, is if you can say 2 + 2 = 4, then we live in a world of fact. Once you concede for a quiet life and through intimidation, accepting 2 + 2 = 5, when you know it doesn't, we're in a world of no fact. We're in a world of war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. So we need now to stand up and not concede our uniqueness to this. We see what is happening, or at least some of it. This is the key. We don't see why it is happening. And it's in the why that the curtains open and the penny drops. The whole point of postage stamp consensus is to keep you in a sense of apartness. So you see the pieces, but you don't see the picture, which happens when you fit the pieces together. But connect the dots between all these apparently unconnected subjects, people, things, and so that's what's going on. Now, let's go back here and see how this permanent government dictates to here today, gone tomorrow politicians quite clearly. These people will have come into office with different promises, different things they said they would do and wouldn't do. But there are so many parallels. First of all, Republican Bush and Labour Party Blair lied after 9/11 to justify the invasion of Iraq. They then disappear and their opponents come in. Democrat Obama and Conservative Party David Cameron. The same people who told us there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Same people when they knew they weren't. Why did they tell us there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Because Iraq was on that list for regime change. They hadn't got an excuse, so they invented one. And we had Wesley Clark, another war criminal actually in the Balkans itself, but he has said publicly years ago that he had a general friend in the Pentagon and told him very soon after 9/11 they were going to invade Iraq. No one's talking about Iraq. They're going to invade Iraq. He comes back a few weeks later, the same general told him they were going to invade a series of countries, not just Iraq. And what were those countries? The very countries named by the Project of the New American Century, for the New American Century in September 2000. He said, the Project for the New American Century, wanted us to destabilize the Middle East, turn it upside down, make it under our control. And what they've had to do is keep inventing different excuses to pick off different countries so that people don't see the pattern, although the pattern's blatantly bloody obvious. Are we alone? Don't be daft. Are we alone? So ask that question. Do you think we're alone? No. Now, you know, when you look at that night sky, what you're looking at is basically the Milky Way galaxy within that yellow circle. And not only that, only within the smear, visible light, 0.05% within that circle. And they said, until the 1920s, they reckoned, scientists, that there was one galaxy in the universe. The latest, highest estimate, less than 100 years later, 2 trillion. 2 trillion galaxies. I find it works if you give it a kick, that's what I've always found. So there's trillions of galaxies, trillions of stars, trillions of planets, but only life as we know it on this one. And if you say otherwise, the little green man and all that stuff. But there are some people, very few, only one I've come across, Tucker Carlson, in the mainstream media, who have been having people on recently, probably in the last 8 months, on his show, Prime Time, who are talking about US military documentation and radar recordings of craft that are not known about in the human arena. Here's a bit of background. In 1969, no one knows why this guy did this, but he did. I'm glad he did. In 1969, a guy stood up called Dr. Richard Day in front of a meeting of pediatricians in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Richard Day was a big Rockefeller family insider. He was an executive of Planned Parenthood and a doctor. And he stood up to speak and he said to these pediatricians, can you turn off recording equipment and not take notes, because I'm going to tell you how the world's going to change. And one doctor called Dr. Lawrence Dunnigan did take notes and later did a series of interviews to describe what Day said that night in 1969. And the reason he did the interviews is because he realized that what Day said that night was happening, and not just in theme but in detail. And in my last book, the last book before this one, called Phantom Self, I quote what Day said that night at some length. It is extraordinary how what he said was going to happen, and the network that he represented was going to make it happen, and it's happening. And this is what Richard Day said in 1969. There will be mass movements of migrations of people without roots in their new locations, because traditions are easier to change in a place where there are a lot of transplanted people as compared to trying to change traditions in a place where people grew up and had an extended family where they had roots. Now, to understand what this is all about is to understand another goal of this global society, and it is to absorb all cultures and differences of culture into one global blob of non-diversity. And therefore, people say now it's racist that you're saying there shouldn't be this migration on this scale or this migration on that scale. But actually, this is just stage bloody one. Where it's meant to lead is a complete fusion of global cultures with all that, glorious diversity to one blob world culture controlled by a world government. 60% of Britons believe in conspiracy theories. What does that mean? We believe the government frickin' lies to us. That's what they're saying. You truly don't care what anyone thinks of you. You have reached a dangerously awesome level of freedom. You can only reach that. You can only reach that level by not caring what other people think of you. I love seeing me. It pisses off all the right people. You'll never change the world by being what you want to change. We need to be what we like the world to be. You want to change, then we must fight. Are we going to go on identifying with the me we're told to be? Or are we going to be the me, the I we really are? The power of non-violent, non-cooperation. There's 7.5 billion people. The number of people knowingly manipulating is a handful. Non-violent, non-cooperation with that handful, that system, will mean it cannot function. We must protest, okay, fine. But if people protest and then go home and just carry on as before. Nothing's going to change